just like to give a little update on my spiritual awakening experience. It has taken a turn I didn't expect, but I should have expected. I really should have seen this coming, but I didn't. Anyways, I'd just like to discuss how things have gone up to this point. So the experience in itself has been incredible. My entire perception of reality has changed over the past couple of years. It really started around 2020 when I started diving down a bunch of rabbit holes. Once you see the darkness, it's not something you can just ignore or unsee, because once you look, nothing is ever the same again. Once you realize that things like child sacrifice, adrenochrome, satanic worship, weather modification, DNA editing, the list goes on and on and on and on. But once you realize these things exist and this is real, it's impossible to ignore ever again. You just start learning more and more and realize that this whole reality is controlled by Satan. It's wild. But realizing so much evil is prevalent, you start looking for good. Because obviously if there's that much darkness, there must be light. That hunt for the good led me down the path to spirituality. And things like tarot and psychics. What I didn't realize at that time in my life was that all of that was just another trap set by the devil. The devil realized that eventually people were going to start waking up to what was actually happening in this world and that he controlled everything. And he had backup plans set up, one of those being this new age spirituality. And he got me with it. He really got me with it. Tarot for me was one that just consumed me. The synchronicities from what the cards were saying and what was happening in my life were just mind-bending, because the devil is working through these cards or through these readers to manipulate you into believing that you are on the correct path when all he's doing is leading you away from God. And it took me a while to realize it, but I finally caught on, as I always do. It's no different with psychics. These psychics, the ones who aren't just blatantly lying to you for profit, there are some psychics contacting things beyond this reality, beyond this world. But those things are not positive entities who wish the best for you. These are just more traps set by the devil to try to pull people away from God who are actually on the right path of spirituality and realizing and asking questions. Hey, something's up here. Like, there's more to life than this. What is actually going on in this reality? Why does the devil have so much control? So he sets things in place to grab those people, because he doesn't want them to go down the right path to God and Jesus, because if they do, then he loses. And he does not want these specific people who are waking up right now to find Jesus and find God, because then he knows all hope is lost for him. He cannot pull you back into the darkness. So some of these psychics, though they may mean well, they may genuinely have no idea that what they're talking to is a malicious entity trying to pull you away from God, but it is. I don't think these are necessarily bad people. Some of them probably are, but I don't believe they all are. I don't believe all tarot readers are bad people. I don't think they understand that they're being used by the devil to pull people away from the truth. And it worked on me for a very long time. The thing with me is I overthink things and I analyze things and I never stop questioning things. And I'm more than willing to change my opinion on things if new information comes up, and it did. And I couldn't ignore it. I started to notice the manipulation. I started to notice the devil trying to use these readers and these psychics to just bring me down and make me feel horrible, make me feel like I was losing my mind. The synchronicities that happened were genuinely unbelievable. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even considered those things, psychics and tarot, to be a genuine way to understand or perceive this reality, because it seems like complete hocus pocus. But so many things happened that I couldn't ignore it. And when things start happening like that, I don't ignore it, because obviously just because it goes against my current belief system, I'm not going to ignore what is physically happening in my life. That's not critically thinking. You can't just ignore things because they don't fit with your current narrative going on in your mind, right? So I dove right in, and the devil, he got me. He had me for a bit. He'll never continuously hold me down, and he knows that, which is upsetting for him. But yeah. So that was the first couple years of my whole awakening experience. And honestly, I think it was beneficial because during that time, I was completely focused on becoming the best version of myself. So I removed all the toxic things from my life, thinking that in order to become the most spiritually elevated version of myself, I had to remove sin from my life, essentially. Well, I didn't realize it was sin at the time. I just thought it was things that were toxic for me. But I started removing these things. So I removed all of the toxicity from my life. And what I didn't realize was it was basically my soul saying, okay, Corey, you want to dive into this tarot and psychics and follow the path of the devil for a little bit? That's okay. Clearly you have some lessons you still need to learn. Go right ahead. But while you're doing that, you're going to remove all sin from your life. So that once you finally realize you're being manipulated by Satan, you are prepared for God. So I did that. I didn't realize that's what was happening, but that is literally what happened. I became celibate. It's been years now. I removed all alcohol, all drugs of any sort. Marijuana was a big one for me, gone. I exercised daily to make sure that I was the healthiest version of myself. So my physical body that's holding my soul was the healthiest it could possibly be. I made sure to eat about 98% organic foods. I stopped watching things like horror movies because it's just, like, obviously, I'm not scared of these movies, but the visually seeing these horrific things in these movies is not going to bring you closer to God or bring your vibration up or elevate you in any sort of way. And I loved horror movies my entire life. Horror movies are my favorite. So I removed all of that from my life. I stopped watching, I think in the last 3 years I've watched 2 movies. I can't watch movies because now that I see that Hollywood is basically just one big satanic cult, I can't support that. Every now and then, like, I'll try and I'll start watching a movie and I'll see all of the subliminal messaging and I can't ignore it, and it's just like, why am I even putting myself through this right now? So I removed all of movies. I completely changed the kind of music I listen to. So I started to listen to like high vibrational music with specific frequencies, and now that's completely shifted into basically just gospel music and worship music, and it honestly makes me feel amazing listening to that music. So that has been very nice. But I took all the toxic music out of my life. I love all kinds of music, honestly. Everything. So it kind of made it easier for me to switch to new genres that I hadn't experienced before. But I miss a lot of these things because that is what you grow up with. That is life. Like, you grow up in this society, you're born into it. You don't realize you're being brainwashed by the devil the second you're born. No one knows that. So these things become your norm. Obviously, you're going to miss those things if you've grown up with them your whole life. But I'm finding other things that I enjoy to replace the toxic, evil garbage that I've had my entire life. And it's bringing so much peace to my life. I deleted dating apps. That came along with the celibacy. Dating apps are the easiest way to line yourself up for the devil. Casual sex and just using people for their bodies and to gain temporary pleasure, and then you're sleeping with people that you don't know who they've been sleeping with, and it's all just such an energetic exchange, and you're taking on these bad energies from the people they've been with, and then them themselves, you don't know who these people are. So it's just not good. But it makes sense that it's so prevalent in society because this whole reality is controlled by the devil. This is the devil's hell on earth, is where we are living right now. And everything is designed to make you sin and go against God and Jesus and where we're supposed to be headed. So it just makes so much sense, because I noticed the evil very early on in my awakening. I noticed the devil, I noticed the satanic worship, I noticed all this child sacrifice, I noticed just the pure evil happening in this world. And I knew that God was real, And I knew the devil was real because of all of this. It took me a while to go from the tarot and psychics to just Jesus. And now that I'm here, it's like, oh no, this makes complete sense. I completely understand why all of these things have happened, why I am where I am today. Everything makes sense. It's so fascinating. It is so fascinating. What I can say for sure is if you clean your life up and you dedicate your life to God, things change. If you remove all the sin from your life, all of it, obviously no one's perfect. If you do your best to get that out of your life, you will see just how dark this world is and how far you've pulled yourself away from it. That is for sure. So yeah, not long ago, maybe a month or two ago, I finally realized that the devil was using these tarot and psychics and whatnot to manipulate me. And I made the jump over. Because I had been essentially prepping for this transition to Jesus and God the entire time I was awakening, not realizing it, but by removing the sin from my life, even though I was listening to tarot and reading tarot and listening to psychics and these things that are essentially witchcraft and are not bringing me closer to God and Jesus, because I had removed the sin, the devil knew he was screwed. He knew he had no chance because I was removing sin from my life while he was trying to pull me into darkness. And I was doing it with fair ease. Like, it wasn't the most difficult thing I'd ever done. Obviously, it wasn't easy, but he knew. He was watching me and he's like, frig, I lost this one. He's going in the right direction. So, something fascinating happened. I had been praying and asking God for, essentially for him to speak to me. Because I have seen these people, these prophets, who hear the word of God and pass that word on to other people, and he directs them in their lives. And in order to get to that point, you have to basically be sin-free, or at least most of the way there. And I thought maybe because I'd put in all this effort, I was close to that point where I could actually hear from God and get direction or something from him. And then the other day, something absolutely incredible happened, and he actually spoke to me. I swear. And I know that might sound crazy to people who don't believe in these kinds of things, but it is honestly something I will never forget, and I am so grateful that that happened. And I'm sure you're wondering, what did he say that was so impactful in your life? What could he have possibly said? It's just one word. And that one word led me to scripture. And what I found has proven to me that what I have done and what I have been doing these past couple of years was not a waste of time, and I am genuinely on the right path. So I'm sure you're wondering, what did he say? I will tell you what he said in another video, because this one's been long enough, so stay tuned. Sorry. All I can tell you for sure right now is God and Jesus are very real. There is definitely a spiritual war happening on this earth, and it's for your souls. It's for the souls of every man, woman, and child on this planet. And the devil, unfortunately, has control of this entire reality, so he has the upper hand at the moment because people's lives are completely consumed by sin, and most of them don't even realize it because things have been so normalized. But God's coming back. Jesus is coming back. And he's waking people up like me. So he's clearly got some plans. Anyways, thank you for listening. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. This little peek into my awakening and where things have gone up till this point. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.